What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing some insane battles in the Great League Remix Cup featuring the 3 Galarian birds, where I was actually able to climb 100 elo in just one day. Now the biggest issue for this team in the Open Great League is Lantern, but since it's banned, there really aren't a ton of electric types in this meta, and Galarian Zapdos can deal with most of the steel, rock and ice types, although Carbink is a bit rough to face, but luckily Hardy1 is actually using it, so it's not that bad. With that being said, let's just get into the question of the day. What's the best Pokemon that can be used in all 3 Open Leagues? So the Great League, the Ultra League and the Master League. Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so going into the first battle, we lead Zapdos into Shadow Granbull. Awful lead for us. I'm going to save swap into my Moltres because I know I am a little bit bulkier. I will just about make it to an Ancient Power, and if nothing else, I'm going to grab a shield, which we do grab, but the opponent's able to fully charm farm me down. Now, this is not a great position. I can wait out the switch clock before coming in with my Articuno, but the opponent is already at a crunch, so I'm going to use a shield here. I really hope they don't get the debuff, and they don't get the debuff, and now I should be able to make it to 2 Ancient Powers, and that will be enough damage to finally get rid of this Shadow Granbull, but the opponent makes a catch perfectly onto their Diggersby. Ancient Power is resisted, so very nice catch. I'm now going to come in with my Zapdos. Hopefully I can go for a full counter farm down. Probably going to have to shield at least once here. Well, I mean, only once. I've only got one shield, but I'm going to use the shield here. Don't want to get too low. I'm hoping I will be able to fully counter farm them down before the final Fire Punch, but no, they make it to a last second Fire Punch. This is really bad, and now they could come in with the Granbull, so I'm going to have the close combat ready to throw. The opponent comes in with a Quagsire, so I go for the close combat anyways, knowing mud shots are not going to chunk enough for them to take me out. We swap there, we preserve our health on the Zapdos. I'm able to transfer that damage of the charm onto my Articuno, go for the close combat and make it to a 3rd close combat into this Quagsire on the CMP tie with the Mud Bomb, and I'm able to take out the Quagsire and take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next battle, we see Galvantula in the lead, and if you thought the previous lead was bad, well, this is just another level of awful. Obviously, there's going to be holes in this team because it is a theme team, but we do get the Ancient Power boost here, which is, if anything, probably slightly worse because now they're going to get 1 extra Volt Switch through, but no, they actually swap out into Jellicent, so we're going to go for the Brave Bird here, and this is going to do big damage before we do go down. Now, I'm actually going to come in with my Zapdos because I'll be able to get a lot more farm, and I need a lot of energy to take out the Galvantula, but I'm seeing my switch clock is up, so I swap, and I'm hoping, have I just caught the Shadow Ball? We caught the Shadow Ball onto the Moltres, amazing catch. We're able to get the Wing Attack farm down, and the opponent actually comes in with a Dugong instead of the Galvantula, so this is really not looking good for us. We go for the Ancient Power that does just under 50%, and the opponent's going to go for a full farm down, allow me to get to a 2nd Ancient Power, and this actually grabs the final shield from the opponent. They snipe with the Galvantula, and they're already at a charge move, so that is really awful. My only play is if they go for a lunge, which they do, and now I'm just going to go for a full farm, and the opponent throws their energy. This is a massive mistake because now I'm only 1 counter away from the back-to-back close combats. This first one even resisted, even debuffed, takes out the Galvantula, and it doesn't matter how much energy the Dugong has because a 2nd close combat takes out the Dugong, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent. Obviously, they made a few misplays there, but it does happen. You're going to see later in this video I made such awful plays, but somehow still went very positive with this team. But into the next battle, we see Golbat in the lead. Pretty bad lead for the Zapdos, so I save swap into my Moltres, and we go for a payback on the CMP tie with the Body Slam. And what I found out after a few battles is that we actually don't win CMP up against all Vigoroth. It is IV dependent, although this Vigoroth must be pretty good IVs, as we do win the CMP tie there. Now I'm going to shield once up against the Vigoroth, go for a full counter farm down, and we do come out with a Brave Bird loaded, so I can throw that straight away into what I assume to be the Golbat coming back in, and this should be grabbing the final shield from the opponent, which it does. So now I swap into my Articuno. The opponent has a Scrafty in the back. We can go for the Brave Bird, and this Brave Bird is absolutely going to be one-shotting the Scrafty. They come back in with the Golbat. I will be able to shield once, make it to another Brave Bird in time, and Brave Bird will easily be enough damage to take out the Golbat from this range as well, and I will be able to take out the Golbat and take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next battle, we see Zapdos into Pidgeot now. Not a comfortable lead once again. So going to say swap into my Moltres. And I was assuming this is going to be the human catcher bug with the Pidgeot, the Whiscash, and the Quagsire in the back. So I'm actually just going to let this move go through, assuming it will be a Brave Bird, because they're going to have to swap out of this matchup into either the Whiscash or the Quagsire, which I feel very comfortable with. So I come in with the Zapdos, but no, it's actually a Jellicent in the back. So this is not good whatsoever. We're going to full send the Brave Bird here. Brave Bird does huge damage, and now I am just going to let my Zapdos go down. Surf takes me out. I will now be able to fully Psycho Cut farm them down, shielding hopefully just the one time here, shielding up the Shadow Ball, so yes, I will be able to get the farm down. Now what does the opponent have in the back? They actually come back in with the Pidgeot, so we go for the Ancient Power. Ancient Power doesn't quite take them out there, and now we CMP tie them with the next charge move here. Ancient Power from this range actually grabs a shield from the opponent, and now I'm going to have to shield this up. Probably a Feather Dance. It is the Feather Dance. And they've unfortunately got a Vigoroth in the back. So if they had something like a Machamp, then we would have been fine. But unfortunately, Vigoroth, Body Slam, this will be enough damage to take out my Articuno. And I do unfortunately lose that game. But into the next battle, and one of the great things about this team is that I was seeing a lot of the Shadow, Alolan Sandslash, and then double fighters, or a fighter and Vigoroth. And it's just really good for my Zapdos to see, because the opponent save swaps into the Surf Edge. We get a full counter farm down, and the opponent just concedes the match there. Honestly, the reason why this team did so well is because I saw that team, or variations of it, probably 20% of the time, maybe a little bit less, but certainly in my first few sets, I saw it non-stop, and it was just lovely to see. But here, unfortunately, we are aligned to the Sandslash with our Moltres. We go for the Ancient Power, doesn't do that much damage, but a payback from this range will be enough to take them out. But unfortunately, we lose the CMP tie. And once again, this is another one that is IV dependent. Sometimes we will win it, but if the opponent is running a poor IV Sandslash, then we will unfortunately lose the CMP tie. But we come in, we counter farm down with the Zapdos. They come in with the Jellicent, and unfortunately, we got a bit of stutter lag there. So I didn't get off the Brave Bird before they threw the Surf, but that's actually fine. That means we live the Surf. Now I can go for the Brave Bird, and Brave Bird does huge damage. We swap into Articuno. They've got a Shadow Machamp in the back, and look at those Psycho Cuts. We're actually finally doing more damage with Psycho Cuts than they're doing with their counters, although we are double resisting it, so that would be pretty embarrassing if we didn't. We go for an Ancient Power, grabbing a shield. We get to a second Ancient Power. Honestly, this will not take them out from this range, but we grab the shield anyways, and that's fine. I'm going to shield this up. It is just another cross-shot bait, which is unfortunate, but I don't really care. We're now going to go for another Ancient Power. This will easily be enough damage from this range to take out the Machamp. They come back in with the Jellicent. We swap into our Zapdos. The opponent needs to get to back-to-back Surfs. They don't get there, and I'm able to counter, farm down the Jellicent, and take that game. Into the next game, we see Carbink in the lead, so not great, but we do want to see it in the lead because Zapdos can at least hit for neutral damage with these counters and close combats. And because Carbink is very bulky, it's unlikely that they're going to shield the first charge move. So we go for the back-to-back close combats. We do land the first one, and now I can swap into my Articuno. And from this range, I'm probably going to have to double shield, but I will be able to Psycho Cut farm them all the way down. And a loaded Articuno is going to be absolutely deadly, especially since we will have gotten rid of the Carbink, but the opponent safe swaps into their double. So I'm going to go for the Brave Bird here. This is going to do absolutely massive damage to the double, and we've got the Ancient Power loaded as well. The opponent is rightly over farming, knowing they would lose the CMP tie, and now they farm to back-to-back wild charges if they're running it, or a payback and a body slam, but they are running the wild charge, so unfortunately this will be taking me out here. So I'm going to let it go through and then come in with my Moltres. We get the wing attack farm down, and they've got Cresselia in the back, so this is going to be really close here in the end game. All I've got to do is make sure they don't catch a payback. I'm not sure how low the Carbink is, but we're going to find out very soon that I don't think it was quite in range for me to wing attack farm down, as the rock throws would be super effective. So we just go for the Ancient Power. Unfortunately, no boost, but we go for the payback, and payback isn't enough damage to take out the Cresselia. They make it to a last second charge move, and this will be enough damage to take out my Moltres, and unfortunately we do lose that game. So fairly close, but not quite there in the end. Into the next battle, we see Diggersby in the lead. They are running quick attack, so it's actually not that bad of a matchup, even though, of course, Fire Punch is non-stab, not going to do much damage, and we are hitting for super effective. They've already gotten us into the yellow health, so we're going to go for the close combat here, and now we're going to swap into our Moltres to catch the next Fire Punch, as we did debuff our defense. Fire Punch doesn't do much damage. The opponent's staying in with their Diggersby, so they might be weak to the Moltres in the back, but that's fine. We can easily tank yet another Fire Punch. Now I will have to go for the payback most likely, as Ancient Power is resisted, and from this range I'm not 100% sure if it would take them out, so I'm not taking the risk. We go for the payback, we take them out, and they come in with a Toxapex. Now what I don't want to do is allow them to fully farm me down, so I go for the payback, and then I'm seeing my switch shot coming up, so I swap into my Articuno. We still got both shields. They're probably going to bait with a Brine, but I'm just going to respect the damage anyways. Go for the shield there, and I will be able to make it to a Brave Bird, throwing it just before they make it to the next Brine, and the opponent lets the Brave Bird go through. They've got a Cresselia in the back, and now this is going to be a little bit tricky here. We're going to go straight for the Brave Bird once again. Doesn't really matter. We're already 3 stages debuffed. What does one more stage mean? Absolutely nothing here. So I'm going to use a shield at the last second. It is a Grass Knot, but when we're quad debuffed, it probably would take us out from that range. I can now bait with an Ancient Power, grabbing the final shield. I swap into my Zapdos, forcing them to expend some of their energy. They can't overfarm by much because we were very close to the close combat. And now I'm going to come back in with the Articuno, but they're already at the next charge move. This is really unfortunate. Grass Knot still takes us out, but we just about make it to the Ancient Power. I was trying for the payback, but I thought I wasn't quite going to get there, so we settle for the Ancient Power, and we take out the Cresselia, and we take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next battle, we see a Quagsire in the lead. So this is actually pretty decent for us to see in the lead, as Stone Edge is only neutral damage, whereas against the other 2 Pokemon, it is super effective. We're now going to go for a close combat before swapping into our Moltres, and just guarantee we do get switch advantage as well. We're going to come out with a decent amount of health, where the Quagsire will still have to go for Stone Edge to take us out. So we're going to go for the Ancient Power here. From this range, it will be enough to take out the Mandibuzz, and we do get the attack boost as well. So they come back in with the Quagsire. We do just about make it to the payback, winning the CMP tie up against the Quagsire, and payback nearly one-shots them, but they do just about hang on. And at this point, because I'm boosted, I might as well shield this up. Let's see what they've got in the back. It is a Charizard, so I will be able to go for the Ancient Power. Ancient Power would easily one-shot a Charizard, even from full health without the boost, so they do definitely shield. And then I'm able to swap, catch the Dragon Claw, well, most likely Dragon Claw, onto my Zapdos, as they do wing attack farm me down. But all I have to do is make it to a Ancient Power on my Articuno without being taken out, and I should be able to win this game, as the opponent goes for the CMP tie, but Articuno very glassy, very attack weighted, winning the CMP tie. And now I can let the Articuno go down. The opponent full sends a Blast Burn, but we are just 2 wing attacks away. The opponent tries to make a catch, but they switched out just a little bit too soon, and now I make it to the Ancient Power, taking out the Charizard, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next battle, we see Zapdos into Shadow Dragonite. This is probably one of the harder leads for me to see. Of course, we've already seen a Galvantula and a Shadow Charm Grand Ball, but Dragonite also very difficult to deal with. We are met with a Shadow Alolan Sandslash, which is really unfortunate. I'm going to full send the payback here, and payback nearly takes them out, and they do get to another charge move in time. I don't think I can afford to use a shield here, and I'm going to come in with my Zapdos, as I don't want to take too much damage with the Shadow Claws here. So we go for 1 counter, taking them out. They come back in with the Dragonite, and they will be able to outpace me to a charge move here, winning the CMP tie as well. So we shield up the Dragon Claw, and we go for the close combat, but actually that wasn't a CMP tie, so they get a Dragon Breath in for free. We're now going to swap into Articuno. They've got an Escavalier in the back, and now I should have gone for the Brave Bird first, forcing them to use a shield. But they go for the Mega Horn. That would take me out because it is neutral and Articuno is very glassy. We go for the Brave Bird here. Hopefully they shield it up, but they don't, knowing that they will now be able to fully Dragon Breath farm us down. We're going for the Ancient Power, hoping for a boost, hoping we will make it to another one, but we don't get there in time. And now they will be able to make it to the Dragon Claw up against my Zapdos, and this will easily be enough damage to take out the Zapdos, and I do unfortunately lose that game. But GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we see Toxapex in the lead, so not a great lead. Gonna save swap into my Moltres once again, and I don't really care if they go for a Sludge Wave or a Brine, whatever, just gonna let it go through. Moltres is the bulkiest Pokemon on this team, so I kind of have to save my shields for the 2 remaining Pokemon. We're now gonna go for a payback. This will do a ton of damage if it does connect, which it does, but here, unfortunately, we lose the CMP tie, so this Vigoroth clearly not quite as good IVs as the previous one, and now we're gonna come in with the Zapdos. I will be able to counter farm them all the way down, but we only get 3 counters worth of energy, so not an ideal situation to be in. I'm going to swap straight away into my Articuno, assuming it is the Toxapex that comes in, which it is, and now I am going to shield this up, probably just going to be a Brine once again, but Articuno is a lot glassier, and they come in with a Scrafty, so I'm going to go for the Brave Bird here, making it just before they make it to a foul play, and Brave Bird does grab the first shield. We get to the second one on the CMP tie with the foul play, and Brave Bird will be grabbing the final shield from the opponent. Now I can let the Articuno go down. All I have to do here is come in, counter farm down the Scrafty. I'm not 100% sure how much energy they have on the Toxapex, so I will actually let the foul play go through as it is resisted. And now we do get the full counter farm down. We get to the back-to-back close combats. I wait 1 turn so the poison jab damage actually registers before I debuff my defense, allowing me to survive there to make it to the Brave Bird, and Brave Bird takes out the Toxapex, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to the opponent there. Into the next battle, we see Drapion in the lead, so a pretty neutral lead for us. And yeah, this is what I'm telling you about. I did not play too well in all of the battles, and that's just a fat finger swap there. Trying to swap into my Moltres, we misclicked, and I also call a bait there. They go for the Shadow Ball, they take me out, and now I'm at a massive disadvantage here, as I've basically given them a free Pokemon there. I'm at a disadvantage with the less Pokemon now. We go for a payback. Sorry, my commentary is all over the place now because my battling was also all over the place, but we do take out the Jellicent. We make it to the Ancient Power into this Drapion, and I'm expecting something like a Cresselia or maybe a Toxapex, or I don't know, something in the back that we're not going to do too well up against with our Zapdos, and it's actually a Golbat, so there was no way I was winning that game after that awful swap, and we do unfortunately lose it, but GG's to that opponent, giving them out a free win. But into the next battle, we see Buzzwole in the lead, so pretty good matchup all round. We can take anything here, it's all going to be resisted. They actually go for Lunge, which is double resisted. We swap into our Articuno and we bait out a Sandslash, so going to go for the Ancient Power here, and this is not quite going to do 50% of their health, so they should be able to live another one. So now we're full sending the Brave Bird, and Brave Bird actually takes out the Sandslash, and we just won switch advantage up against one of the hardest counters to this Pokemon because the opponent got greedy with the energy and they just did not respect the damage coming from that Brave Bird. We now shield up the superpower and we're able to fully wing attack, farm down the opponent, and they've got a Jellicent in the back, so it's not over yet, but it's looking pretty good for us as we go straight for a payback, grabbing the first shield from the opponent. They are running Bubble, so they're very slightly slower to get to the charge moves than with Hex, although for the first Surf it is the same anyways. We're now going to overfarm here, going for the payback just before they make it to the next charge move, and it does grab the final shield, so now I can just swap into my Zapdos, and a Brave Bird from this range will be enough damage to take out the Jellicent, and I'm able to take that game. So into the next battle, we see Zapdos into Quagsire once again, and the opponent stays in initially before swapping into a Shadow Golbat. Now, a Shadow Golbat save swap is actually not too good for my team, as it will be able to regain switch advantage in the 2-shield scenario, even if we get an Ancient Power boost here, as they can bait with the Poison Fangs, which they do, and now my defense is now reset to the initial stats here. We're going to go for another Ancient Power, grabbing the final shield, but they will be able to outpace me to the final charge move as they did swap faster than me, so I'm just going to let the Articuno go down, come in with my Moltres here, and they will make it to another Poison Fang. All I have to do is throw before they make it to a final Poison Fang into my Moltres, so we throw one before they get to the final Poison Fang. Ancient Power from this range will be taking out the Golbat, no boost this time around. They come back in with the Quagsire. We are going to swap into our Zapdos, and I can actually live a Stone Edge from this range, but the opponent baits with a Mud Bomb anyway, so that makes it even easier for me. Now I will shield this up. Probably going to be the Stone Edge this time. It is the Stone Edge, and I'm going to overfarm massively. We make it to the back-to-back close combats. We go for the close combat here. This will be taking out the Quagsire, and they've got a Charizard in the back, so we're going to full send the Brave Bird here, and Brave Bird will be enough damage to one-shot the Charizard, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next battle, another Shadow Golbat in the lead. So gonna save swap into my Moltres here, and the opponent usually stays in this matchup, goes for a Poison Fang debuff before swapping out. So they go for the Poison Fang there, lowering my defense, and they're actually staying in this matchup. So I'm gonna go for an Ancient Power there, making sure they didn't catch by waiting one turn before throwing, and we throw just before they make it to the Poison Fang. Now, I've grabbed the shield advantage. I'm happy with that. I'm gonna let the Moltres go down, otherwise they would just be able to wing attack farm me down anyways. Now I'm going to come in with my Articuno. I will be able to win the CMP tie here, but the opponent does go for the Shadow Ball, at least farming to the potential Shadow Ball. They are very likely to bait with just a Poison Fang, but that's fine with me. I'm going to shield anyways because that would probably put me into range where they can just wing attack farm me down. But here, I can now go for a Brave Bird into the Quagsire that comes in, and Brave Bird nearly one-shots them. We swap into Zapdos, we catch the Stone Edge, or the potential Stone Edge, and it is the Stone Edge, and now we can counter farm them down. And if they come back in with the Golbat, I will be able to make it to a charge move to take them out. So I'm going to let this move go through. Poison Fang does take me out. We come in with the Articuno, we go for the Ancient Power straight away, assuming it's some kind of fighting type in the back. But it's a pseudo fighter in the form of Dubwool, and now a Brave Bird unfortunately is just not quite going to be enough damage to take them out. They farm to the back-to-back body slams, grabbing my shield, and now we do go for the Brave Bird here with the Psycho Cuts. Is this enough damage? No, it's barely not enough damage. They live with like 3 HP remaining. Body Slam takes out the Articuno, and we do unfortunately lose that game. But into the next battle, we see another Shadow Golbat in the lead, so can we get our revenge this time around? The opponent save swaps into a Shadow Sandslash, so not looking too good for us here. We are going to let this move go through. Ice Punch does a lot of damage, but it's a very aggressive Shadow Claw farm down, and if they go for the farm down, I can bait with an Ancient Power, grabbing a shield, and make it to the last second payback, and from this range, a payback takes out the Sandslash, so we grabbed a shield and 1 switch advantage up against a Lowland Sandslash with our Galarian Moltres, so that was insane. Obviously, the opponent trying to get the farm down, and if they did, they probably would have won the game there because they'd have had at least 2 Ice Punches loaded, which I would have had to double shield. But here, now we're able to get the final shield with my Articuno, or sorry, with my Zapdos, swap into the Articuno, go for the Ancient Power. It doesn't quite take them out there, but I'm fine with that. I'm happy to let the Articuno go down. The opponent actually undercharges there, really smart play, so I let them get me as low as possible, only giving the opponent 1 Poison Sting worth of energy for free, and that does allow me to make it to the close combat before they make it to back-to-back crunches to take me out, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next battle, we see Zapdos into Shadow Dragonite, and yeah, this is really bad. Gonna save swap into my Moltres, and the opponent doesn't throw straight away, allowing me to get to the Ancient Power, and this will grab an early shield, and at this point, I'm happy to grab the shield advantage. Honestly, they could fully farm me down, but they're not going to. They're gonna throw just before I make it to the next Ancient Power, so very good timing there, and they will now be able to make it to another Dragon Claw before I get anywhere close to getting to an Ancient Power on my Galarian Articuno. So we shield up the Dragon Claw here, and we don't want them to catch, so we go for 1 extra. We go for the Ancient Power, and Ancient Power will be taking out the Dragonite, and we get the boost. They come in with Licky Tongue. I'm going to full send the Brave Bird before swapping out into my Zapdos, and if they let this go through, which they likely do, it's going to do huge damage there. It puts them into counter farm down range. Now we come in with the Zapdos. We tank the Body Slam. They've got a Shadow Quagsire in the back, and honestly, this is an obvious bait here. Like, what else are they going to do? If they do go for the Stone Edge, we shield it up. We easily outpace them, so I shield it up. It is the Mud Bomb, and now we CMP tie as we reach the back-to-back close combat. So now this Stone Edge will be enough to take me out, and unfortunately, coming in with the Articuno, they actually still make it to the Mud Bomb before we get to the Ancient Power, and Mud Bomb takes out the Articuno, and we do unfortunately lose that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next battle, see Shadow Quagsire in the lead this time around. So like I said, we do like to see it in the lead. And the opponent, I don't know why, they just go straight for a Mud Bomb. So we can easily tank that. No problem whatsoever. We're going to overfarm here, throwing just before they make it to the Stone Edge. So I'm going to go for the close combat. And the opponent will just let the Shadow Quagsire go down. They come in with a Charizard, we swap into our Articuno, and they come in with a Licky Tongue. So I'm going to let them throw their energy first, as this Body Slam won't do as much damage after it'll do more damage after I've used a Brave Bird. But now we can get off the Brave Bird. They do shield it, but I get off a last second Ancient Power, and this Not going to do much damage, but it's a nice chip really. And what I'm actually going to do here is come in with my Galarian Moltres, as we do resist the lick damage, so I don't have to use a shield whatsoever. We are slightly bulkier as well, remember. So body slam plus the lick damage really doesn't do much. I can safely let the next one go through as well, and as long as I come out with nearly 100 energy, we should be absolutely fine here, as we should be able to grab a shield with the ancient power up against the Charizard. That comes back in, and we do get to the ancient power, and now we've got both shields remaining. We're not going to need to use either of them as we swap into our Zapdos, and we do make it to the Brave Bird, and we've seen already that a Brave Bird will easily be enough damage to one-shot the Charizard, and we take that game. And into the final battle of this video, we see another Golbat in the lead. So Golbat, probably one of the most common tricky leads that I saw, but we did have a lot of play because typically it was some sort of like double pseudo fighter backline, and we see the Vigoroth coming in here. So very nice play by the opponent to debuff my defense, chip me with the Poison Fang before coming in with their Vigoroth, but we do grab a shield advantage, which is nice. Now we can let the Moltres go down to the body slam. We can come in with our Galarian Zapdos. I will be able to shield once, fully counter farm them all the way down from this range. I'm not sure if I'm going to let the first one go through or shield the second one. That means the exact same thing, sorry. Either let the first one go through or the second one, but we let the first one go through. We shield the second one. It is the body slam, and now I do have a Brave Bird loaded. So we tried to wait one turn there, making sure the wing attack came through first, but it looked like they lagged a bit. But the opponent lets it through, and now they come in with Scrafty, and I'm just going to full send the Brave Bird here. They probably won't expect me to full send it. And they didn't. We one-shot the Scrafty, and I'm able to Psycho Cut, farm down the Golbat, and take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.